Welcome to E3 2014, everybody. My name is Christopher Thomas Plant. Today I'm joined by my friend Tracy Lien, and we're going to talk about Batman Arkham Knight. Fortunately, we have somebody who actually knows a thing about Batman Arkham Knight. We have Dax Ginn here, not related to Ted Ginn Jr., formerly of the Ohio State Buckeyes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very, very well.
Thank you so much for making time. I know it is an absolutely crazy week.
It's super crazy, yeah.
But we have some gameplay. We're going to hop into that first off, and you're going to kind of guide us through what we're seeing, and then we'll ask some questions afterwards.
Sure thing. So this is a piece that we've just put together for the press conference with Sony the other day, and we really wanted to kind of show everyone this is what we're doing with Next Gen. Here's our focus, because we've talked a lot about the Batmobile and the functionality of the Batmobile, but really the ways in which you can use the Batmobile for both pursuit through the city and also transforming into the new battle mode to engage in encounters with the Arkham Knight's forces is a huge part of the gameplay. But Gotham City itself is this massive playground that we've built, and this has really been something using the horsepower of Next Gen that we really wanted to execute on, the entirety of the city built out. And so starting here on Wayne Towers, right up in Bruce Wayne's personal office, and then just diving off the top and plunging down into streets. When we first kind of got this working in-game, probably like 2 or 3 years ago now, we sort of started to prototype that kind of sheer drop where you're just hitting the side, down the side of a building, you know, hitting that really deep dive, and then calling in the Batmobile at any time with the press of a button. That sort of fusion between man and machine is something that we just really love the idea of. So it's awesome to bring it here and show it off to gamers at E3.
Sure. I mean, something that we've heard a bit about at this E3 is we have all this power in the hardware now. Is it actually being applied to the gameplay, or is it being applied to making everything look pretty? Is that something that you're saying basically couldn't have been done before? Well,
for us, it's more about creating a sense of place. You know, Gotham City isn't just a city. It's a very particular place with a very particular atmosphere. So the rain that we have, for example, really is very processor heavy. So using the power of Next Gen, we can create that very authentic emotional feeling of being in Gotham City. And you see here, this is the transformation into battle mode. So this additional kind of way of using the Batmobile to bring out this military-grade artillery that Batman has there, because the Arkham Knight's forces are an occupation force, a military force that he is sending into Gotham City in order to flush out Batman so that Scarecrow can destroy the legend of the Batman. The thing is, all of these tanks are all unmanned. They're all drones. They're all remote controlled by the Arkham Knight's forces. So Batman can totally unload on them and just create carnage in the streets.
I have to ask.
Is Batman allowed to have guns though? Like,
absolutely.
Really?
Batman's attitude towards killing is the thing, and because these tanks are unmanned, they're unmanned drones, then that's the preparation that he has put into this threat to the city that he is sworn to protect.
I know how intense you guys are about DC and canon and everything. Have you had the conversations in the office about which things fringe on half machine, half man, where they fall, and can we shoot it territory?
Well, we're not here to break Batman's rules. You know,
Sure.
We absolutely work in collaboration with DC on every aspect of the games that we create. So when we were designing the kind of offensive abilities of the Batmobile, that was something that we did in collaboration to ensure that we kind of take the combat experience to the next level with vehicular combat. And so the design of the Arkham Knight's forces really fell into that big conversation about how do we bring a threat of warfare to Gotham City, but still respect the principles that Batman lives by.
Sure. Now, we saw Scarecrow at the end of the thing yesterday. Actually, if there's anything happening here, feel free to cut me off and tell me what's happening.
This is what we really wanted to do with the manifestation of fear for any developer at a press conference at Sony is your game crashing. That's your ultimate fear. And Scarecrow uses fear as a weapon. So we wanted to really show the ultimate fear that we have, which is something like this happening in front of 20 million people around the world. So the Scarecrow crash and the takeover by Scarecrow was our kind of connection with the use of fear as a weapon, and that's the threat that Scarecrow presents in Batman Arkham Knight.
So Scarecrow is the main villain of the game?
The puppet master, the mastermind.
Now, I know that everybody loved Scarecrow in the first game, and I'm curious if there's a concern, going into this game of the kind of having your ice cream for the whole meal thing.
Right.
Was that something? I mean, is that why the Arkham Knight exists? So it's not just that weird kind of, I don't know, non-traditional gaming moment that was the Scarecrow stuff, so that it's breaking the game up, so it's not just that stuff all the way through? Well,
the strength of Scarecrow is the psychological angle that he brings in, and that psychological stuff works best when you don't expect it. So, we kind of talk to gamers a lot, and there's a real sort of split between people who love the claustrophobia of Arkham Asylum versus gamers who love the freeform open navigation of Batman Arkham City. So Arkham Knight really combines those two things, with the entirety of Gotham built out with complete freedom to travel anywhere you want, whether it's gliding or using the Batmobile, but then with Scarecrow really bearing down on Batman throughout. But you've really got to think about Scarecrow as a physical dude. He's kind of like the Riddler. If Batman versus Scarecrow in a fist fight, it's just going to be over in a heartbeat. Whereas the Scarecrow sort of agenda is to break Batman down psychologically. So it's the Arkham Knight that brings that physical threat to Batman, that is able to flush him out and do Scarecrow's bidding on that sort of physical front, and the psychological aspect is what Scarecrow brings. It's always there in the background, ready to strike.
The villains of Batman are arguably more interesting than Batman himself, and so how did you decide who would make the cut this time round?
We always think about that from a gameplay perspective. What villains can we include that will allow us to explore new kinds of gameplay or new narrative threads? And that's something we never really had previously, was a villain who could challenge Batman physically. And so the Arkham Knight really gave us that opportunity to design a character that's completely original. I mean, that is a terrifying opportunity, but something I think we've done a great, I love the design of the Arkham Knight, and again, working with DC, that's just been such an incredible experience. But the way in which the abilities that he brings can allow us to explore new avenues of gameplay was the most important thing for us. And we think about that in every respect, whether it's Harley Quinn or Penguin or Riddler or Two-Face. These are all characters that push Batman's buttons in different ways, and we have to ask ourselves, are those ways the style of gameplay that we want to pursue? Does it make sense for the game that we're making? And if the answer to that is no, then we'll generally avoid characters that don't really allow us to do something interesting or innovative from a gameplay perspective. Because
Scarecrow is a psychological villain, does that give you more dramatic opportunities? Obviously, Bruce Wayne is nothing but his past, essentially. A man constantly in grief. Is that what you gain from having a character like that, who can, one, get in the mind of that, and two, well, not literally recreate it, but I guess manifest it in his own ways? I think it gives a sensation in the player's mind that they need to be on their toes all the time, because with a game world like this that's so open, and the interaction between Batman and the Batmobile, where you can drive at super speeds and eject out at any time and just be gliding above the skyline of Gotham, it's very easy to feel very free. And I personally love that feeling of feeling very free within a game world, but also very dominant, being able to strike anywhere that I choose. But knowing that Scarecrow is in that world with you means anything can kind of happen. And to me, it sort of tempers that freedom by always keeping this itch in the back of your mind, like, I should never feel like I'm in control of the situation, because Scarecrow has proved his power in Arkham Asylum. He's had a lot of time to prepare his revenge against Batman, because he was completely absent during the course of Arkham City. So that's the way that we're sort of balancing that, is offering immense freedom, but also reminding gamers that at all times Scarecrow can affect him with fear toxin, or by threatening the people that he loves, that he cares for. Sure. Whether it's Oracle or Commissioner Gordon, the vulnerabilities that Batman has in his life around him that he can't always control.
Yeah. So if Arkham Asylum was about the claustrophobia and the tension in a small space, and then Arkham City just opened up everything, and now you're in this huge city, what would you say defines Arkham Knight?
Batmobile. Because Batmobile. It was definitely the key gameplay feature that we felt like this is the thing that's missing. If we want to create the complete Batman experience, it's the Batmobile that we need to do. Because you think Batman, you think Batmobile. And the the decisions that flowed from that, both technical and creative, were really significant because you, in your imagination, expect to be able to drive at insane speeds. You expect to be able to just rip through any obstacle in the street. So we had to commit exclusively to next gen in order to make that happen. And then once you make that creative decision, all of your technical decisions really flow from that, because you need to support this kind of, very high performance vehicle and all of the destruction and kind of epic devastation that comes out of it. So really, that was the first decision we made, even before we'd finished Arkham City, was we're going to go for it with the Batmobile. And then, okay, we've got to build the entirety of Gotham City then, because if you're driving at insane speeds in a small game world, you're just going to be to the other side super quickly. So it's got to be big. It's got to be very epic scale. But we've always made games that are very detailed. So how do we ensure that if gamers get out and Batman just walks through the street, that every crack in the pavement and every sort of bit of brickwork or reflections on the window look amazing? So those were the kind of core technical and creative challenges that we've been wrestling with ever since we made that decision back towards the end of 2011 to just really gun it with the Batmobile.
Sure. We saw the, whatever, it looks like movie file deformation. I'm literally not getting the word at all. but everything going wrong with the Scarecrow little video moment. Yeah. Is that kind of hyper meta thing going to be part of the game, where it's playing with the player's mind as much as it's playing with the character's mind?
I think the most appealing thing about moments like that is when you don't expect them. So I'm not going to kind of give you specifics on if we're doing stuff like that, but certainly it was uber popular. We did like a fake out shutdown, a console shutdown for Arkham Asylum. Yeah. And I still watch that on YouTube and people's comments about, like, they got up and switched their console off, and then it just really, I think, engages with gamers on that level that you just don't expect. And that's the beauty of Scarecrow as a character, that you can, it's not just about creating deception within the game space. You can expand that out and create deception in people's lives as they're playing the game. Yeah. And really kind of get under gamers' skins. Do
you feel like it's an opportunity to communicate with the player more directly? Because I mean, sometimes these games, it's like you basically don't act like people are playing the games. You act like it's all about empowerment of just be this character for a moment. We're gonna act like you're not really here. You are trapped in this world. Right. It seems just like an unusual opportunity to recognize the player exists.
It kind of stems from our attitude that is be the Batman. Ever since Arkham Asylum, every decision we make is based on this idea of, does this make the gamer feel like they're Batman? Does this fulfill the fantasy of being the Batman? And so if you can kind of reach out of the game experience and touch the player and make them feel like Batman by doing that, then we're all for that. Anything that breaks the sensation that you are Batman, we do everything we can to try to avoid that. Because that's really the heart and soul of everything that we do at Rocksteady, is really push that sensation of just being this super powerful but very mortal character.
Sure. Do you have any more questions? Because I have just one left. Urban Chaos Riot Response. the greatest game ever made.
Of course.
When can we expect the sequel? For me, basically.
Right. The follow-up has been, on the back burner at Rocksteady for a long time.
That's why I assume it's going to be the best.
Because we've got all this spare time.
I can't wait. It's okay. I understand. Don't worry. You have just one person who would pay at least $60.
We got the Riot Shield. It's a great game, right?
It's a fantastic game. Yeah. Everybody's kind of ripping it off. Whatever. The point is, thank you so much for coming and talking to us about this game that is an Urban Chaos but looks pretty great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We are here all week on Polygon.com, or if you want to watch more videos, we are on YouTube.com/Polygon. Until next time, we will see you later.